just a little. Really. I actually got sick December 31st, and I have been having issues. Then they couldn't kill me with the flu. They tried to kill me with medication. Yeah. Oh, I know. That's what he just, Brian, just told me. Yep. Hi. What? On. Let me see. I got my papers. There's one, is that the one that's out? One?
Yeah, the first one, yes.
Well, I messed up papers. Does this go with that?
The short one that says Brian.
And where does this go? Because I mixed it all up.
So, this goes in the front.
Okay.
Yeah, see, here.
And then the minutes. And then the minutes. Oh, there was a mistake on the minutes, so they had to write that whole thing down.
Oh, is that what they did?
I guess that too.
Did they what? Hey, I know, I heard that. I read the minutes. I read the minutes. Oh.
We don't have case one now.
You have seen your They do that from time to time. How have you been? Got a good looking shirt on there.
Thank you. So you survived.
Well, you know, I survived the flu. They tried to kill me with medication.
So you're pretty tough.
What happened?
Looks like we can operate. Good evening. Hello, my lady.
Side effects, but, you know, fingers
Did we have
swell
a
up like
queen on
sausages,
Saturday?
eyes swollen shut.
You're a queen.
Fine, remember.
You're a royal highness. Highness.
They finally landed on the medication, gave me 14-day supply of it.
Careful, in this environment.
That's working. Not contagious.
King called me honey the other day because I'm so sorry, so sorry. It's beyond words. There's just no words. We don't even have words.
Coronavirus, which
It is. It's evil. I mean, it just doesn't feel good.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God. We're just so sick to this stuff.
That's what you're bringing.
you know, when I was in the hospital, I did not have a bed. They did not have a bed. I was on a gurney Thursday, Friday, Saturday, mid-morning. I finally got a bed in a room in the hospital. They had people in the hallways with flu.
It was, wasn't it?
And they fucking found me a room. Guess where they put me?
It was unlike,
In the,
like what we're used to
I
seeing.
think it's called rescue maternity.
Yeah.
And the babies are all at the other end. My friends knew I was on the maternity, said, they finally figure out what's wrong with you. We need to plan a baby shower.
Yeah.
I said, no, they just, that's where the room was. Then at 2 o'clock in the morning, they moved me to the 6th floor. They came in and said, yeah, look at them all.
No, so great solution other than
Almost killed you with them. That's your brain.
I haven't even gotten to doing it, so I don't, probably.
They withdrew that case today, but if you guys don't need anything about it, we'll just make sure you know that when we get to this point on there. So,
Good to go.
whenever you're ready.
Everybody's here that's gonna be here.
Well, Larry said he would be here, but
You got a quorum, so you're free to go. It's on.
He says you.
Well, I'll just broadcast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the City of Independence, I welcome each of you in attendance, as well as those of you who are watching this meeting on City 7 to the February 13th meeting of the Independence Planning Commission. Before we begin our meeting, let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For those of you who are unfamiliar with our meetings, it is the responsibility of this commission to hold public hearings and make recommendations to the Independent City Council on matters related to zoning and land use changes within the city. We also consider and make decisions on plats, special use permits, and other issues, as well as changes in codes and policies that relate to city planning. Our procedure for each case is as follows. First, the applicant will be recognized to speak on behalf of their case, followed by anyone else in attendance that wishes to speak in favor of the matter. Second, those who are in opposition or who have questions regarding the case will then be recognized to speak. Then, if there was opposition or questions from the public, the applicant will be allowed a rebuttal period to address those questions or concerns. Once the applicant is finished, the chair will declare the public portion of the case closed, and further comment from the public will not be recognized. Then, the commissioners will have the opportunity to discuss the merits of the case with one another, and during this discussion, the commission reserves the right to ask questions of all parties concerned. And then finally, the commission will render a decision in the case. Because this is the only public hearing of the cases on the agenda tonight, all those who wish to speak will be heard. All comments and questions shall be addressed to the chair and not directly to the applicant or staff. The chair also requests that statements be kept brief and on point, and that if the statement has already been made by a previous speaker, please do not repeat it, but simply indicate your agreement on that matter. Now, to expedite tonight's meeting, the chair asks that everyone who wishes to testify or thinks that they may testify, please stand now and be sworn in. Those standing, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth before this commission? If so, please say, I do. Thank you. You may be seated. The first item on our agenda tonight has been withdrawn by the applicant, so we're going to move to case number 18-100-03, rezoning of 1226 North Kiger Road. Would the staff please give us a report?
Ray Williams requests to rezone part of the property at 1226 North Kiger Road from R6 Single Family Residential to C2 General Commercial to continue its business operations. This vicinity map that you see here on the screen shows the general location of the site north of US 24 Highway and on the west side of North Kiger Road. I can't get this to, there we go. This is the zoning for the area of East US 24 Highway. The zoning for this area is either R6 or C2. From the slide, you can see how this segment of US 24 Highway sort of has a stripped out commercial pattern along this corridor. This is a recent aerial photo of the site taken in early 2016. The duplex to be demolished is on the northeast corner of the lot. The auto repair shop is on the southwest corner of the lot. There's commercial uses to the south and east, with residential uses to the north and west. Excuse me. The map showing the applicant's property and surrounding properties where public notices were sent out to is on this slide. Real quickly, we did get a set of protests, but the legal protest was under 30%. It was at 29%, so they have not quite reached the threshold. This aerial photo has color overlaid, so you can better see the zoning overlaid on top of the lot and the aerial of the topography there. It divides the lot with the R6 on the north and northwest part of the property and the C2 on the remainder, the south part. This is the applicant's auto repair shop. It's a small building, roughly 1,000 square feet. The applicant has been operating his business here since the early 1980s. And you can see the southwest corner of actually the duplex that is to be torn down right there. This is the duplex. It's partially zoned C2 and partially zoned R6. A demolition permit is under review for its removal. Here's another photo of that same duplex. These are single-family houses immediately north of the applicant's lot. And this is the stone house across North Kiger Road, northeast of the applicant's site. This is directly to the east across Kiger Road. About a year ago, the owner of this tire business sought but was denied a special use permit to sell used cars on his property. And then here is the used car lot to the south of the applicant's property. The rocks there actually are where the property line is. It's sort of dog legs, and then heads west. Staff recommends approval of this application, and I'll take any questions you may have.
Are there any questions of Brian at the moment? Okay. Would the applicant please come up to the podium? Sir, could you give us your name and your address where you reside, please?
Ray Williams, and I own the property, and I didn't hear the rest of what you said.
And where your address, where you live, is this where you live as well?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay.
In my ears.
It's okay. I
He's
understand.
88. He lost a lot of his hearing in Korean War.
If you could, just let us know what your plans are for the site and just give us some general information.
He just changes oil out there on cars, and that's about the size of what he does, but he likes going up there still.
I do brakes and mostly minor stuff anymore.
Okay. Is there any questions of the commissioners up here for Mr. Williams?
I'm curious, what are your plans after you tear down the
Duplex.
What are you gonna do with that land after you tear that house down?
I'm just gonna mow it for, just be a yard. I'm gonna blacktop my driveway into my garage when the old house is demolished. And I'm gonna repaint the front of my garage and my sign and get it fixed up where it looks better. With the old house gone, I can do all this. I've got a little insurance money that I can do it with. And that's the only reason I wanted it, just to make it one piece of property instead of be split up. I could care less if it was either one, you know, but I'd rather it would be all commercial.
Sir, I have a question. How many more years do you anticipate having your garage there?
How long are you gonna work? She wants to know. How many more years are you gonna wanna work?
I plan on being there at least 3 or 4 more years, as long as I'm healthy. I enjoy my job. I've done it for almost 60 years. And I hate to, you know, be put out without my garage. I wouldn't know what to do.
So your plans are, if it's approved, to demolish the house back there and blacktop part of that area, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He's already got it set up to be tore down.
Now, I got a contract already on it, and
Okay.
got plumbers coming in to reroute my water line, which used to come through the basement of the house. And right now I'm out of water because the lines are all melted, and then I fixed them, they froze, so I'm carrying water.
What we read and what was prepared for us is that if this is approved, then there needs to be some site improvements done as well, like screening, like some type of fence or plants. Is he in agreement that he'll do whatever the city would require you to do?
You're gonna be able to put a fence up there between your property and the rental property next door to you?
I can if necessary, yes.
Yeah, they probably
Yeah.
require that.
But I don't know that anybody objects to, you know. I've tried to be a good neighbor with everybody, and
Sure.
But yeah, I'm willing to do that if that's necessary. Sure.
Okay, all right. Do any of the commissioners have questions? Okay. Thank you very much. You can sit down.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak in favor of this case? Okay. Is there anyone here who is opposed or has questions? If so, please come up to the podium. And when you do, give us your name and what your address.
My name is Elena Admire, and I live at 1300 North Kiger Road. And we also own 1302 North Kiger Road. We own both pieces of property. And our main objection, my husband and I, is we feel like if it goes to commercial, it's going to affect property values in the neighborhood. We do have congestion on Kiger Road with the used car lot and the tire shop across the street, and they try to park there. There's been many times that I've called my trash company and basically kind of cussed them out because they didn't pick up our trash, but they cannot get down the road. Kiger Road was not made for any on-street parking. It's a dead-end road. It's 2-lane, and it's dead end. And when people park on the side of the road, you just have all the congestion, and even in the wintertime, it's very difficult. the tire shop, when we were here for a year ago, and we objected to the use permit, and they were kind of threatening another neighbor when we left the meeting here. And they have a garage that they haven't put a roof on for 2 years. They had a building permit out there, and then they had a blue tarp on there, and they haven't done anything to it. And then the little building that they own behind it, which they store their tires, they painted some, I think they just did it because they were upset. But I have pictures of what they painted on that, and so as the neighborhood, we have to look at it. You know, I think it's childish, you know, what they've painted on there, but they just did it, so we had to look at it. And I did bring some pictures of what they had painted there. We would like to see the house repaired at 1226. I mean, you know, and somebody living there instead of another commercial. I mean, he could have a used car lot there. They could expand the used car lot if you rezoned it. And there's enough used car lots on 24 Highway. And I'm gonna tell you, they really don't last long, even on Kiger. You get somebody that will open up a business and they may last 6 months and then they're gone. You don't know who you're gonna get in there. Nothing is really stable in the used car lots. We made the protest to the zoning for our 2 properties, and Mr. Riss at 1230 had protested it. We have talked to 4 other neighbors. Some of them have out-of-town owners, which one of them we do know, but I know they won't be able to testify today, but they said that they were going to protest it before the city council. So I mean, they're going to try to get it to the city before, you know, the city council meeting. But we have 6 neighbors that do not want this rezoned. So I would just ask you to leave it as it is, as residential, so we can have a neighborhood instead of businesses.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Do you want to see the pictures that across the street from the tire shop?
Sure. You've piqued my curiosity.
I don't know what the significance of the photos are, but
Interesting.
I don't think it advertises anything or any business. Thank you.
Is there anyone else present that is against or has questions concerning this application? Please give us your name and address.
My name is Woodrow Admire, and I live at 1300 North Kiger also.
Okay.
I own the house at 1302, and none of us on that block wants a car lot on the corner. It's not, there's a car lot across the street that is completely empty, got 2 cars, but just 2 cars sitting there all, the past year. It's empty. If they want to put a car lot in, let them go across the street instead of take this block up. And they need to fix the street from where the cars have tore the asphalt up in front of this place pretty bad. From running in and out, and then you're, like she said, you fight tow trucks getting in and out. The trash company won't pick up the trash because they're blocking the road. And we have to call them and tell them you didn't get our trash, and they said they couldn't get in. So it's making it a hazard. And that garage, they painted it right after the last court case. When they come in here for the hearing, the guy painted it, and you see the pictures that he put on the side of that building, like it wasn't all right just leaving it gray. He wanted to make a point. He made it.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I don't know what good it'll do, but I know everybody along there that could even would sign if they was within the limits of the property. But one of them's in, I think it's in Wyoming or Utah. I know, maybe it's Wyoming. He's against it. The neighbor next door is against it. That's still on it. They're in the list that they've done said they filed claims that they're against it, but they just didn't show up tonight.
Okay.
So I don't know what else to do. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else here? Wait a second. Wait a second. Okay. Since no one else has questions or is standing to oppose, I'll invite the applicant back up to give a rebuttal. So you can approach the podium and speak into the microphone if you wish.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that problem they're having is across the road.
Make sure you speak into the
Across the road in the tire shop, that's across the road, that's not, he never parks on the road, he always parks back in his long driveway he's got. He has nothing out there on the road, so. I don't
Okay.
know.
Mr. Williams owns the house, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so I think in the city's report, he mentioned something about, are you waiting on a permit to go through for it to be demolished?
What are you waiting on a permit to go through to get the house tore down?
Say that again.
Is there a permit for the house to be tore down?
Yes. Contractor got it.
Okay, Brian, could you just,
Yeah, the permit is independent of this rezoning, so
They told me that,
it will be tore down probably either way, so.
okay, so, well, the reason, because one observation of one of your neighbors was that they wish the house was rebuilt.
Right.
But if you're getting ready to demolish it, I'm just questioning if it's actually worth rebuilding.
No, the adjuster said it was total beyond repair because it burnt from underneath the kitchen floor out. And the outside don't look too bad, but the inside's gutted, so.
Okay.
And smoke damage on all of the rest of it that's, they can't get off, so.
Real quick, I'm just looking at our system here real quick. It looks like on the 30th of January, there was a demolition permit that was pulled. What we're waiting on right now are all the utility disconnects. We won't issue the demo permit until we're assured that all the utilities have been disconnected from the house. So I'm assuming that's what the contractor's currently working on. And then looking at the dangerous building case that was on this as well, our dangerous building official just noted that they estimated that about 15 to 20% of the structure was damaged, and it may be able to be repaired. However, then notes in the future claim that the property owner did not wish to repair and wanted to pursue the demo, and that's certainly his right. So,
Okay. Whether or not this case is approved, does he intend to go ahead with the demolition?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. And if it's torn down and it remains residential, does he have would his plans change on what he wants to do with that piece of property?
They said if he tore the house down without having it rezoned, he would have to tear his garage down.
Oh,
I don't know why, but that's what they said.
is that true?
That's what they told him.
Well,
when he went up there.
the property, I mean, has a commercial use as a garage. I mean, the half the property is right now zoned R6 and half is C2, which anytime a building permit would ever be issued in the future, you'd have to rezone the property anyway because our code does not allow two zonings on one lot. The current situation with the garage is it's a legal non-conforming use and it's operating, and we could continue to operate whether the house is there or not. Well, I mean, it's a legal use in the sense that it's on the part that's C2, but so it's not legal non-conforming. It's a legal use, but if you were to ever like add to that garage, let's say, or do some substantial work, he would have to rezone the whole property to C2 just to repair the garage. Because you can't, because our code requires one zoning per lot.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Do you folks have anything else you want to say? Okay. Well, thank you very much.
I have a question for Mr. Williams.
Oh, sorry.
Has he ever had a problem with the city or his neighbors on his property before?
No, sir, it hasn't.
I had neighbors next door pile a bunch of ladders and lawnmowers and stuff up against my house. And I got a letter from the city about that, and I didn't know it was there, it wasn't mine. So I had the city to send them a letter, and they got it moved.
All right.
That's the only problem I've had with the city in all these 36 years I've been there.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the public portion of this hearing, and would ask commissioners if they have any other comments, questions, observations, motions.
My observations is really thoughts, rambling thoughts. This one's kind of tough for me because you want to protect that residential that's behind there and the investment that people have made. But it's like an island out there in amongst C2. But it would be nice to regulate some things, so I don't even know exactly what I'm asking, except that is there a way to make it C2 with certain boundary stipulations, like truck weight, parking in the street? I mean, is there any way to regulate any of that in C2?
Well, I mean, as far as the rezoning case itself here, you know, you can't condition the zoning. So
anything goes.
So can we create a new zone?
Yeah, again, we'd have to look, I mean, when it comes to zoning, you have to look at what the zoning ordinance allows for uses within the C2 district if it is ultimately rezoned, and essentially we would, be subject to allow any of those uses that are allowed in there. There's a few things that you could possibly do, having a PUD attached to it can kind of control what that is, but we don't really get too involved in those at all, nor do we, we do that, and that, again, that's not what the applicant's proposing either here. Now, as far as used car lots and stuff like that, if there ever was to be a used car lot here, that would require a special use permit. So there is some control there. There obviously are many uses in which we control. So, it's not a used car lot right now. If Mr. Williams wanted to have a used car lot, or if somebody he sold it to wanted to have a used car lot, that's going to follow the same process as the one did a year ago and have to come in front of the commission for a special use permit and then ultimately to city council. So those are some of the controls we have on through the special use permit process, but that doesn't stop a lot of other uses that could potentially be there.
However, if we do go ahead and approve this, when that house gets torn down, he does have to do some type of screening, right?
Yeah, he's going to have to do a 15-foot landscape buffer with a fence.
And if we don't approve it, then he can't do anything to his shop. He can't improve his shop unless he stays on the
He
other
won't be
side.
able to improve his shop
Significantly.
that requires a permit without, at some point in the future, again, coming here and rezoning the property, because the code requires one zoning per lot.
Okay.
So he can improve the front of it, but not the back. Isn't it right? Because it cuts him in half.
No.
Anything that would need a permit.
Permit that would be issued on that property could not be approved until the zoning was taken care of, and the nonconformity or the illegalness of having two zonings on one lot is taken care of.
Can the city, at least the folks that are sitting here, give me their impression on what they would require, what their tendency would be to suggest to Mr. Williams that he do if it's changed to C2 as far as the screening. In other words, you're going to say fence, or you're going to say just landscaping, or what's your?
The code spells it out. There's what's called a high density screen, which is what's called the low density landscaping with the 6 foot tall opaque wood fence, and that's what the code calls for.
Okay.
Okay, how about me? I make a motion to approve case number 18-100-03, the rezoning of 1226 North Tiger Road.
Tina's moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Cindy seconds. Before we take the vote, I'm just going to make a comment for what it's worth. I don't think it makes, the house is going to be gone one way or the other. And I just think it makes more sense for the neighborhood if that house is gone and it's not ever going to be, chances of it being residential and the house being built on again are probably very slim. So I think if the house is gone and it's changed to commercial, that there would be some screening, which all in all would probably benefit the neighborhood. So I'm in favor of this. So we can either have the vote, or anybody else can give their opinion publicly if they'd like. All right, let's vote.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Boley. Oh, he's not here. Sorry. Commissioner Goldsberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
and Chairman Ashbaugh.
Yes, case number 18-100-03, rezoning of 1226 North Kiger Road, as we have approved that. And that is the last. You can talk to these gentlemen after our meeting, okay? The next item is approval of, a unique item, is an approval of 2 minutes.
Yeah, my makeup from last month, I'm sorry.
Does anybody have any comments, changes on the first set of minutes? Okay, hearing none, we'll say the minutes are approved as written. And on the second set of minutes, the same question. Does anybody have any comments, corrections? Okay, hearing none, we'll say that the second set of minutes for January 23rd, 2018 have been approved. So the next item is, does the city have anything to tell us, or do we have anything to say to the city?
Just a few things real quick. We will have our next couple meetings, not the next meeting, but the meeting after that, and I'm blank. I think it's actually March 13th, because I think we run the same schedule next month on dates, but the comp plan will be coming forward to you for a recommendation to council at that. I know we've kind of talked on and off on that one, so I'm hoping, similar to what we did with the Fairmont plan, I can get that to you a little bit more ahead of time than we normally do on our packets. We actually just got our first draft of that today, and we're really trying to accelerate the time frame for this one, just to make sure we can get it to council prior to the election, so we don't have any new potential council people who are voting on something that they've never been a part of. So that's our goal on that right now, and I think we're going to be able to do that, so be looking forward to that. The other thing is we are due for a planning commissioner training with the Eastern Jackson County group If there's any topics that any of the commission members can think that they would like to hear about, give me a call, drop me an email, whatever's easiest for you, and let me know. We'll be discussing that as a group this Friday, so if you can get me something, if you have any ideas, get me something by Thursday, that would be great.
Okay. The commissioners have any comments, questions of city staff? Okay. If hearing none, we're going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 6:25.
Because we're doing the signage.
35. Do I hear 40? Sorry, 35 is correct.